الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أشهد أن مولانا أمير المؤمنين عليا ولي الله أشهد أن مولانا أمير المؤمنين عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا إله إلا الله العظيم الحليم. لا إله إلا الله رب العرش الكريم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم إني أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والغنيمة من كل بر والسلامة من كل إثم. اللهم لا تدع لي ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا سقما إلا شفيته ولا عيبا إلا سترته ولا رزقا إلا بسطته ولا خوفا إلا آمنته ولا سوءا إلا صرفته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا ولي فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من نفس لا تشبع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن علم لا ينفع ومن صلاة لا ترفع ومن دعاء لا يسمع. اللهم إني أسألك اليسر بعد العسر والفرج بعد الكرب والرخاء بعد الشدة. اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك، لا إله إلا أنت. أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to this live transmission from the IMAN Center in Kirkland. We continue our program for Ashura. We open here with a recitation with the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون ذي الأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما وتحبون المال حبا جما كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Surah Al-Fajr. In the name of God, the Lord of mercy, the giver of mercy. By the daybreak, by the 10 nights, by the even and the odd, by the passing night, is this oath strong enough for a rational person? Have you, Prophet, considered how your Lord dealt with the people of Ad of Iram, the city of lofty pillars, whose like has never been made in any land, and the Thamud who hewed in the rocks in the valley, and the mighty and the powerful Pharaoh? All of them committed excesses in their lands and spread corruption there. Your Lord let a scourge of punishment loose on them. Your Lord is always watchful. The nature of man is that when his Lord tries him through honor and blessings, he says, "My Lord has honored me." But when he tries him through the restriction of his provision, he says, "My Lord has humiliated me." No, indeed, you people do not honor orphans. You do not urge one another to feed the poor. You consume inheritance greedily, and you love wealth with a passion. No, indeed, when the earth is pounded to dust, pounded and pounded, when your Lord comes with the angels, rank upon rank, when hell is the day brought near, on that day man will take heed. But what good will that be to him then? He will say, "Would that I have provided for this life to come." On that day, no one will punish as he punishes, and no one will bind as he binds. But you, soul at peace, return to your Lord well pleased and well pleasing. Go in among my servants and into my garden. Sadaqallahu al-Azim.
We continue now with the Marthia chosen for today, but before we start the Marthia, I think it's important for us to remind ourselves what was the message, what was the reason behind the movement of Imam Hussein. Let us actually listen to this narration in Imam Hussein's own words.
Imam Hussein's mission in his own words. The grandson of the Holy Prophet Imam Hussein embarked upon a didactic mission and gave his life on the plains of Karbala. Few questions one encounter every Muharram are: why was Imam Hussein killed? Why would he leave his own hometown Medina for Karbala? Was he going to withstand a formidable army of 30,000 warriors, given he had just around 150 individuals in his caravan, young and old, men and women? There are four major reasons which Imam himself is reported to have described in his various encounters with well-wishers inquiring about the purpose of his revolt. Number 1. Refusing to pay allegiance to Yazid. Yazid, the ruler of the time, son of Muawiyah, demanded allegiance, the pledge of loyalty from Imam, which he categorically refused to give. Imam Hussein is reported to have said, Yazid is a wrongdoer, consumes alcohol, one who kills innocents, openly resorts to sinful activities. None like me would ever pledge allegiance to such as him. You see, Yazid violated the laws of God. He committed everything which Quran and the Holy Prophet had asked Muslims to refrain from. How could Imam Hussein support such a tyrant, oppressor, and evil caliph? Number 2. Invitation from people of Kufa. The people of Kufa invited Imam Hussein so he could lead them and administer their affair of their city according to the teachings of Quran. We all know that these people had witnessed the rule of Imam Ali in Kufa for 4 years, and how rewarding it could be if his son Hussein can rule on the same ethos and principles. It is narrated that Imam Hussein received hundreds of letters while he was in Mecca. It was incumbent upon Imam to reply to their invitation. Addressing the people of Kufa, Imam believed to have written, I have soon come to you by the will of God. For I swear by my soul that Imam is not anyone but one who rules according to the book of God, rises to justice, observes the religion of truth and commits himself to what God has said and ordered. Number 3. Enjoining good and forbidding wrong. Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahi anil Munkar are two among the branches of religion which every Muslim is expected to perform. The well-being of society is only guaranteed if we encourage people to do what is good and discourage them from doing what is wrong. It was due to this obligation that Imam committed himself to come out and preach the message of Quran and the Holy Prophet. In a formal declaration outlining the objective of his mission, Imam is believed to have said, Indeed, I have not risen up to do mischief, neither as an adventurer, nor to cause corruption and tyranny. I have risen up solely to seek reform of the Ummah, of my grandfather. I want to command what is good and stop what is wrong, and in this I follow the conduct of my grandfather. Number 4. The greatest symbol of sacrifice and submission. Imam Hussein presented an exemplary model of godly values. He is the epitome of sacrifice and submission. Before marching towards Karbala, Imam Hussein is reported to have said, Whosoever wishes to sacrifice his life for us and is eager to meet God, may get ready to march with us. How profoundly a poet has captured Imam's immense love for God. O God, I have left the entire world for thy sake, and I have orphaned my children, so I be with thou. Even if I am cut into pieces for thy sake, my heart would not lean towards anyone but thou. It is for this reason that Imam Hussein is undoubtedly the greatest embodiment of this verse. O the peaceful soul, return to your Lord while you are pleased with him, and he is pleased with you, and enter among my distinguished servants, and enter my everlasting paradise. All these four objectives are not mutually exclusive. They are intertwined and connected to each other. The ritual of mourning helps remind us all of those godly values that Imam Hussain stood for: piety, righteousness, justice, truth, love, enjoining good, forbidding evil, and many more.
Marcia regarding Yom Ashura. وہ خنجر جفا چلا، وہ خنجر جفا چلا، زمیں پہ آیا زلزلہ، کٹا حسین کا گلا، پکڑ کے زلف عنبریں اٹھا کے سر حسین کا، وہ قاتل جفا چلا، وہ قاتل جفا چلا، خوشی سے چیختا ہوا، خوشی سے چیختا ہوا، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے۔ خوشی ہے فوج شام میں، خوشی ہے فوج شام میں، ہر ایک چراغ بجھ گیا علی کے خاندان کا، ہر ایک چراغ بجھ گیا علی کے خاندان کا، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے۔ علم تھا جس کے ہاتھ میں وہ وادی فرات میں، سکون سے محو خواب ہے، سکون سے محو خواب ہے، اسے خبر نہیں ہوئی، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے۔ جو پاش پاش لاش ہے وہ دلبر حسین ہے، حسن کا نور عین ہے، علی کے دل کا چین ہے، اسے پتہ نہیں چلا، اسے پتہ نہیں چلا، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے۔ جگر میں ایک انی لیے، جگر میں ایک انی لیے، یہ کس چمن کا پھول ہے، یہ کس چمن کا پھول ہے، یہ ہو بہو رسول ہے، یہ ہو بہو رسول ہے، اسے خبر نہیں ہوئی، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے۔ بہن کے لاڈلے ہیں یہ، بہن کے لاڈلے ہیں یہ، نشاں ہیں جرأتوں کے یہ، انہیں تھی خواہش علم، انہیں تھی خواہش علم، ہوئے ہیں ان کے سر قلم، انہیں نہیں پتہ چلا، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے۔ سجا ہوا ہے ریگزار، سجا ہوا ہے ریگزار، بنی ہے ریت لالہ زار، بنی ہے ریت لالہ زار، شہید سرخرو ہیں سب خدا کی بارگاہ میں، شہید سرخرو ہیں سب خدا کی بارگاہ میں۔ خیام میں حسین کے بلا کا شور و شین ہے، خیام میں حسین کے بلا کا شور و شین ہے، بخار سے ہے نیم جاں جو وارث حسین ہے، خیام کے قریں کھڑا وہ مرکب حسین ہے، نشان یاس سر بسر، قیام کے قریں کھڑا وہ مرکب حسین ہے، نشان یاس سر بسر، ہر ایک چیز منتشر، خمیدہ زین لہو میں تر، خمیدہ زین لہو میں تر، لجام ہے زمین پر، حرم کو یہ بتا چکا، حسین قتل ہو گئے، حسین قتل ہو گئے۔
محمد علی محمد صلوات، اللہم صلی علی محمد وعلی محمد۔ حسین جب کہ چلے بادے دوپہر ان کو حسین جب کہ چلے بادے دوپہر ان کو نہ تھا کوئی کہ جو رکابِ توسن کو سکینہ جھاڑ رہی تھیں ابا کے دامن کو حسین چپ کے کھڑے تھے جھکائے گردن کو نہ آسرا تھا کوئی شاہ کربلائی کو فقط بہن نے کیا تھا سوار بھائی کو حسین جب کہ چلے بادے دوپہر ان کو بر محمد آل محمد صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم والحمد لله رب العالمين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون رضا بقضائه وتسليما لأمره السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين يا سيدي ومولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا أبا عبد الله يا أبا عبد الله السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين مؤمنين مؤمنات عزاداران. We've gathered to offer our condolences to Rasulullah, to the mother of Hussein, Fatima al-Zahra, to Imam Ali, to Imam Hassan, and we've also gathered to offer our condolences to Imam al-Zaman. As the day of Ashura came close to the time for Asr, and our gharib, lonely Imam, our tired Imam, was now physically worn out, mentally worn out, yet spiritually still strong. By now he had carried the broken body of Qasim. He had removed the blade from the chest of Akbar. He had lifted the severed hands of Abbas. He had removed the arrow from the throat of his 6-month-old baby and buried Asghar. He had wiped the blood of his young child on his face. And once again they say he called out, Hal min nasirin yansuruna. Is there anyone out there left to help us? There was no response this time. Is there anyone to help the women of the Prophet's family? When he saw that there was no answer, then he realized that it was now his time to go and achieve Shahada. He called Zainab. He said, Zainab, my sister, let's walk together for one last time. They went to the tent of Imam Zain al-Abidin so that Imam could say his final farewell. Imam Zain al-Abidin, in a narration attributed to him, says that when my father came for his final salam, his al-wida, when he came for that, I couldn't recognize him. He was covered in injuries from head to toe. Zainab lifted Imam Zain al-Abidin up so that he could sit because of his illness he wasn't able to do so on his own. And he asked, when he sees his father and he recognizes finally that it's him, he says, Baba, what has happened to you? Imam Hussein responds and says, the war with the Yazidi forces has begun. Imam Hussein says, Aina Habib ibn al-Mudahir? Where's Habib ibn al-Mudahir? Isn't he there to defend you and protect you? How could you be hurt like this if Habib is there? He says, Aina Muslim ibn Awsaja? Aina Zuhair ibn al-Qayn? And Hussein, each time Imam Zain al-Abidin mentions a name, every time Imam Hussein responds, Bunayya qad qutil. Bunayya qad qutil. My son, they've been killed. My son, he's gone. And he tells Imam Sajjad, my son, I'm coming here to bid you farewell for the last time, because now it's my turn to go out. Imam Zain al-Abidin still doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what's going on. He says, Abata, Baba, how could you be going out now? How could you go out for the last time? Aina Ammu Abbas? Where's my uncle Abbas? Bunayya qad qutil. He's been killed. Aina Ali al-Akbar? Where's my brother Ali al-Akbar? Bunayya qad qutil. He's been killed too. Maybe Hussein was afraid he may even ask about Ali al-Asghar. And he said, recognize that there's no one left among the fighting men except for me. So now only you and I are left as the elder males in this camp. So that's why I must go now. No one is left anymore. When Imam Sajjad heard this, he called Zainab, his aunt, to him. He said, help me stand up. So Zainab helped him stand up. He stood up and he was resting upon a cane, and on the other hand he had a sword. And he began to walk out of the tent. Hussein says, my son, where are you going? And he says, Abata, Baba, you are going out there to die and I should just sit here and wait? I can't let that happen. So Imam Hussein grabs him and says, no, my son, you have to sit and wait here, because the continuation of divine guidance, imama, rests upon you. It must continue with you. Otherwise everything would end over here. So you must wait here. So he sat down, Imam Sajjad, and he said, just be careful, oh my son, because Kufa still awaits you and Sham still awaits you, and you'll have to travel back to Medina with all of the women and the children. Look after Zainab, look after your sisters, and make them reach Medina. And when you go to my Medina, make sure you tell my Shia something on my behalf. Tell my Shias that Hussein missed you on the day of Ashura. Tell my Shia that when you drink any water, cold water, don't forget the thirst of Hussein on the day of Ashura. And oh, my Shia, if you ever see someone who's lost a stranger in a land, then remember Hussein was a stranger in Karbala as well. Hussein was lost in Karbala as well with no one to help him or protect him. Hussein hugged Imam Sajjad for the last time. He left the tent. He went back to his tent. He opened up a chest filled with his items. He took out some clothes and he put them on. And he began tearing it from all sides, putting holes and rips in there. Hussein was worried that maybe these people may rip off my clothes, so if they see that my clothes are not worth taking, maybe they'll leave them on my body, because they probably won't put a kafan on me. So this will be my kafan. This will cover me. But Hussein doesn't know how depraved these individuals are, and they'll even take these worn out clothes from his body. He then went to the tents of the women and he began calling out, Ya Zainab, Ya Kulthum, Ya Ruqayya, Ya Sukaina, Ya Sakina, Ya Fatima, Ya Rabab, Ya Farwa, alaykunna minni akhir as-salam. I'm sending my final salams to all of you. You are the women of the household of the Prophet, and this is the last time we will see each other until the Day of Judgment. The women brought Hussein into the tents. They formed two lines, and they said, Mawla, walk between our two lines so we can perform your ziyarah one last time. As Hussein walked between the two lines, Sakina, they say, was holding onto the cloak of her father. Someone else was kissing the feet of Hussein. Someone else was holding the Imam's hand saying, Mawla, our master, Imam, Ya ibn Rasulullah, don't leave us. Don't go yet. Hussein had to grab Zainab and say, Zainab, please, I have to leave now. Hold these women back. Zainab told the women and told them to leave Hussein. Hussein came out of the tents. Zainab followed Hussein. He said, Zainab, before he left, Zainab said, Zainab, I have a wasiyah. I have a amana. I have something that I need to do. I said, okay, what do you need to do before I leave? He said, I need you to open your collar just a little bit. So Hussein opened the collar of his shirt just a little bit, and Zainab began kissing the neck of her brother. And Hussein says, what is this that you're doing? And Zainab says, this is the last will. This is the wasiyah of our mother Fatima. She said, Zainab, on the day of Ashura, I won't be there to see and to protect my Hussein. Zainab, do you know that a blunt dagger will be put on this beloved neck? So Zainab, kiss this neck before he leaves you. And then Hussein says, Zainab, I have a last will and testament that I need to fulfill as well. And she said, Zainab, give me your hands. Zainab gave Hussein his hands and began kissing them. He's like, why are you kissing my hands? He said, I heard from my father that these hands will be tied up in chains and dragged through the different streets in Kufa and in Sham. Zainab, I have an amanat to leave you. I'm leaving you my sakina. Please protect her. If one of these soldiers like Shimr comes and tries to slap her, please try to protect her. Hussein then kisses the forehead of Zainab. He mounts his horse and he tries to go and leave to the battlefield. Whenever the companions, whenever they would get on their horse and leave, somebody else would be there to bid them farewell and to say salam to them. And normally this was Hussein and Abbas. But now Hussein looks left and right and he sees that there's nobody there to say salam to him and bid him farewell. And he now says, he begins calling out, Ya Habib, Ya Muslim, Ya Abbas, I'm calling you, but you don't reply to me. Zainab hears this and she comes out and says, Hussein, I will bid you farewell before you go. So Zainab held the reins of Dhuljana, Hussein's horse. Hussein got on top of Dhuljana and he was ready to go. So he told Dhuljana to go ahead and go forward. But Dhuljana wouldn't go forward. Hussein began talking to his horse Dhuljana. He says, I know that you are as tired as I am. Dhuljana, you're as thirsty as I am. But this is our final journey together. After this, I won't bother you anymore. After this, you can depart and leave me. Imagine, Dhuljana, imagine. If he could speak, what would he say to Imam Hussein? He would say, Imam Hussein, Ya Mawla, I wish I could take you forward, but somebody's holding me back right now, so I can't leave. Your amanat is holding me back. And then Hussein looks down and he sees Sakina's holding onto a leg of... Sakina was holding on to one of the legs of Vuljana, and she was saying, "No, Vuljana, don't take my father away from me." Don't take my father to the battlefield. Anyone who's gone out, when my brother has left, he didn't come back. When my cousins left, they didn't come back. When my Ammu Abbas, my uncle Abbas left, he never came back. Please don't take my father away from me. Even when Ali al-Asghar, my young brother, went, he didn't come back either. Hussein came down from Dhuljana once more. He hugged his daughter Sakina. He picked her up. He said, Sakina. Sakina began saying to her father, Abata, Baba, Hal istaslamta lil maut. Have you decided to submit yourself towards death? Are you giving up everything and sacrificing yourself for Islam? Is that what you're doing? Look at the ma'rifah of his young daughter. And Hussein tells her, Ya qurrata aini, the apple of my eye. Kayfa la yaslamu lil maut. How can I not give myself up for death? I have no one left to help me. I have no Nasir, I have no Mu'een, I have no assistant, no one to come to my help, no one to help me out. I'm the last one left, so I have to go. Sakina says, Baba, if you have to go for Islam, then fine, I'll let you go. Okay. But I have one last favor to ask of you, Baba. Yes, Bunayya. Yeah, my daughter. Of course. What is it? What do you need from me? She says, Baba, Abata, can you send me back to the haram of my grandfather? Can you send me back to Medina so I can go to Rasulullah? And Hussein says, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't let you go back. There's no way. Hussein maybe wants to tell Sakina, but he has to hold back and say, Sakina, I can't tell you that you'll never make it back to Medina. Hussein now gives his daughter back to Zainab. He says, Zainab, once more I tell you, look after my beautiful daughter Sakina. He goes onto the battlefield. He addresses the enemies. He says, oh people, listen to me. Don't you know who I am? I'm Hussein. I'm from the lineage of Rasulullah. Don't you know? It's haram for you to kill somebody like me. I'm the grandson of the Prophet. I'm the son of the daughter of the Prophet. When he finished his speech, they said, Hussein, we know you are the son of our Prophet. We know you're the son of Fatima. We know that you're the best of people, but we will kill you on this day, Hussein, because we hate your father, Ali ibn Abi Talib. Hussein says to Umar ibn Sa'd, if you must kill me, fine, but do so in an honorable way. Let me fight with your soldiers one-on-one. And Umar ibn Sa'd says, fine, we'll do this. One by one the soldiers would come, but they could not beat the son of Haydar. And Imam Hussein would send each of these soldiers to their demise. Hussein would have all this energy. And then when they realized that they could no longer fight Hussein one-on-one, Umar ibn Sa'd says, attack him from all sides. You can't beat him like this. Attack him from all sides. So they would try, but Hussein would still fight many soldiers off, saying, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. All power, all strength comes from Allah. And then they would begin running away from Imam Hussein because they'd be scared to fight him. And he'd scream at them. He says, you cowards, come back and fight me. You killed my Akbar, you killed my Abbas, you killed my Asghar. Come back and let me send you to hell. Now, when Umar ibn Sa'd realized that they couldn't defeat the son of Haydar like this, they said, no, we can't go to him and hit him with swords and spears. We have to try to attack him from far away. So he told all the archers, he said, whatever you have left, shoot your arrows at Hussein. If you don't have any arrows, then pick up whatever you can find. If you have a spear, throw it at Hussein. If you can find rocks, then throw those at Hussein. Now, arrows they come at all sides and hit Hussein. Rocks come from all sides and hit Hussein. Spears come and hit Hussein. Hussein is being pelted from all different areas and all different directions. One rock came and hit Hussein on the forehead and he began bleeding and the blood came trickling down. When Hussein lifted his shirt to wipe the blood, Hurmala shot a 3-pronged arrow dipped in poison into the chest of Hussein, and it was near his heart. And Hussein now was as ready to fall off of his horse and he couldn't hold himself anymore. And as he falls down, he's saying, Bismillahi wa billah wa ala millati Rasulillah. And I do this in the name of God and with the help of God And I'm doing this in the same way, in the same practice of the sunnah of Rasulullah, my grandfather. And they say there were so many arrows in his chest when he fell down. He didn't fall down on his body, but the arrows made a gap between himself and the floor. Hussein slowly turned, and they say that one narrator says, I never saw a man like Hussein on that day. His face was illuminating with light. A man who saw so much grief, who had seen so much trial and tribulation. Someone like this was still filled with light and still had so much energy. Whenever the soldiers would come and try to finish Hussein off, he would get up and try to attack them again with so much. He would sit back down and try to regain his composure. Umar ibn Sa'd now says, Hussein, we are going to attack the tents of Zainab. When Hussein would hear this, he would begin getting anxious, and they would attack. The enemies would throw more things at Hussein and attack him again. Hussein would try, but he could not overcome all of the wounds, and he finally succumbed to his wounds, and he lost his energy. And finally, when he realized there was nothing left, he began saying, Wa Muhammada, wa Aliya, wa Ghurbata. There's no one left to help us. Hussein is on the ground of Karbala. Dhuljana was doing tawaf of Hussein. Whenever enemies would get close, Dhuljana would hit the enemies and kick them away. Some enemies wanted to hurt Dhuljana, and Umar ibn Sa'd said, no, do not attack the horse. This is the horse of Rasulullah. You can't harm the horse of Rasulullah. And we would say, Ya Umar ibn Sa'd, are you so foolish? You don't want to hurt the horse of Rasulullah, but you are killing the grandson of Rasulullah. Finally, Hussein says, Ilahi, my Lord, I'm leaving everything for you. Are you pleased with me now? Then they come towards Hussein, and they are deciding who is going to take the head of Hussein. A few of them argue. One of them sits down on top of the body, on the chest of Hussein. They take a blunt dagger, one that hasn't been sharpened, and they put that to the neck of Hussein, and they finish off the Imam. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, ridan biqada'ihi wa tasliman li amri. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, ridan biqada'ihi wa tasliman li amri. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, ridan biqada'ihi wa tasliman li amri. Rahimullahu man nada wa imama wa Husayna wa ghurbata. Matam Hussein.
Hussein, ya Hussein, ya Hussein, ya Hussein. बवक्त असर ये पूछा किसी ने मौला से, वो क्या हुए जो नबर्राज़ माथे आदा से. एक आह निकली सुनकर दिले शकिस्ता से, कहा कि हाय वो सब कत्ल हो गए प्यासे. ना लश्करे ना सिपाहे ना कसरतुन्ना से, ना कासिमे ना अली अकबरे ना अब्बासे, ना कासिमे ना अली अकबरे ना अब्बासे. नहीं है कोई अब अपना हुसैन अकेला है, रसूल हक का नवासा हुसैन अकेला है. जहाँ में दिल बर ज़हरा हुसैन अकेला है, नजफ से आइए बाबा हुसैन अकेला है. ना लश्करे ना सिपाहे ना कसरतुन्ना से, ना कासिमे ना अली अकबरे ना अब्बासे, ना कासिमे ना अली अकबरे ना अब्बासे. रहा न कोई भी मौला का मोन सोयावर, शहीद हो गए मौला के मुस्लिमो जाफर. حبیب ابن مظاہر ناؤ سجا کا پسر ناب حسین کے اصحاب ہیں نہ لخت جگر نہ لشکرے نہ سپاہے نہ کثرت الناس نہ قاسم نہ علی اکبر نہ عباس نہ قاسم نہ علی اکبر نہ عباس قریب شاہ کے زینب کھڑی ہے خاک بسر گلا جو بھائی کا چوما تو رو دیے سرور دیا حسین نے بوسا بہن کے بازو پر بہن نے بھائی کو رخصت کیا ہے یہ کہہ کر نہ لشکرے نہ سپاہے نہ کثرت الناس نہ قاسم نہ علی اکبر نہ عباس نہ قاسم نہ علی اکبر نہ عباس غضب کا فرق نمایاں ہے آج اور کل میں چھپا ہے فاطمہ زہرا کا چاند بادل میں گھری ہے آل نبی کربلا کے جنگل میں علی کا لال ہے زخموں سے چور مقتل میں نہ لشکرے نہ سپاہے نہ کثرت الناس نہ قاسم نہ علی اکبر نہ عباس نہ قاسم نہ علی اکبر نہ عباس یہ وقت وہ ہے کہ صغرا کا نام ور پہنچا اٹھا کے ہاتھ مدینے کے سمت شاہ نے کہا سفر تمام ہوا الوداع اے صغرا بتاؤں کیا تجھے تیرے مسافروں کا پتہ نہ لشکرے نہ سپاہے نہ کثرت الناس نہ قاسم نہ علی اکبر نہ عباس نہ قاسم نہ علی اکبر نہ عباس ستم ہے کرب و بلا ہے نبی کی عطرت ہے نصیب آل اباب کسی ہے غربت ہے سیاہ آندیاں اٹھتی ہیں کیا قیامت ہے بس اب حسین ہے اور منزل شہادت ہے نہ لشکرے نہ سپاہے نہ کثرت الناس نہ قاسم نہ علی اکبر نہ عباس نہ قاسم نہ علی اکبر نہ عباس یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
لو ميت تيمي لحسين خذوني ويا معالي حامي الحيمة دفنوني لو ميت تيمي لحسين خذوني ويا معالي حامي الحيمة دفنوني يا هيلي يا هيلي لو ميتت هذه وصيتي بصاحنا ابو السجاد شيعوا جنازتي ويا معالي ويا معالي بالنجف اطلب دفنيتي وحتى لو اقضي بغروب ثقلوني وحتى لو اقضي بغروب نقلوني لو ميتت يم الحسين خذوني لو ميتت يم الحسين خذوني ويا معالي ويمحلي حامل حيمة دفنوني الكربلاء خذوني وزوروني الغريب الكربلاء خذوني وزوروني الغريب عليك قولوا لقيضة عمر بناحي عليك قولوا لقيضة عمر بناحي حيش الظن خدامه وحبابه يخيب خادمه ويا الخدم شيعوني خادمه ويا الخدم شيعوني لو ميتت يمي الحسين خذوني ويم علي حامل حيمة دفنوني الكربلاء خذوني وزوروني الحسين عليك قولوا لقيضة عمر بن حيب حش الظن خدامه وحبابه يخيب خادمه ويا الخدم شيعوني أنا كل عمري قضيت للحسين أنا كل عمري قضيت للحسين وباللطم والنوح عشت مصيبتك جددوا بي العهد بزيارته جددوا بي العهد بزيارته هو يعلم انبار خدمته خلوني شلون انساني ابن خير النساء شلون انساني ابن خير النساء وقلبي يلهج باسمك الصبح ومساء جسمي حشل نار مثل عميسة وجسمي حشل نار لن نتلاميسة هو أنا يا ما عليه جيرة عيوني وقفيت كل عمري الخدمة منبرة هو ادري سجني الحسين بدفتره يصير ما يشفع لي يوم الاخيره حشيخي بابولي مظنوني حشيخي بابولي مظنوني وجددوا بي العهد يم العباس خادمك قولوا له طبع دك دخيل خادمك قولوا له طبع دك دخيل بزينب يتحالفوه يشفع للنازل ما يجوز
دل پریشانم که اسبابم نمی آید صدا دل پریشانم که اسبابم نمی آید صدا عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست دل پریشانم که از بابم نمی آید صدا دل پریشانم که از بابم نمی آید صدا عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست من نمیخواهم جدا گردم ز دشت کربلا من نمیخواهم جدا گردم ز دشت کربلا عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه می سوزد دلم بابم چرا نامد ز جنگ گر بیاید گیرمش اندر بغل من تنگاتنگ شو برون از خیمه بین بابم چرا کرده درنگ ذکر لا حول ولا از او نمی آید چرا ذکر لا حول ولا از او نمی آید چرا عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست گر نموده تشنگی قلب مرا عمه کباب من نمیخواهم در این دشت بلای قطره آب جای آب و جای نان عمه به من فرما جواب جای آب و جای نان عمه به من فرما جواب ده به من یک پاسخ عمه تو از بحر خدا عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه دیدار پدر آب حیاتم میدهد چهره نورانیش از غم نجاتم میدهد جای عمویم پدر آب فراتم میدهد جای عمویم پدر آب فراتم میدهد گر بیاید میکند سیراب طفلان تو را عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست شیهه اسب پدر ای عمه می آید به گوش شوق دیدار پدر برد از سر من عقل و هوش این صدا می افکند در خیمه حال گوش و خروش تامد از میدان صدا از زاده خیر النسا عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم کجاست عمه بابایم
غربت میں قتل ہو گیا مظلوم بے وطن میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشا بہن بہن 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 تیروں پہ تھا رکھا ہوا لاشا حسین کا ڈوبا ہوا لہو میں تھا کرتا حسین کا آواز تھی حسین کی بہن نا کفن کفن بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاش
بہن بہن
ایک دل پہ داغ میں نے 72 اٹھا لیے، کچھ داغ میں نے قلب کے اندر چھپا لیے، چھپتے نہیں چھپان سے داغے رسن رسن۔
میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشا بہن بہن
دیکھا ہے بابا میں نے جو منظر بتاؤں کیا، نیزے پہ تھا رکھا ہوا سر ہر شہید کا، گھوڑوں کے دوڑنے سے تھا ٹکڑے بدن بدن۔
میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشا بہن بہن
قاسم کی لاش لائے تھے دامن میں شاہدین، سیرے سے بے نیاز تھی نوشاہ کی جبین، ایک شب کی رہ نہ پائی نہ جس کی دلہن دلہن۔
میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشا بہن بہن
برچی کلے جائے علی اکبر میں جب لگی، بابا کو دی صدا کبھی آواز مجھ کو دی، کہتا تھا سینہ تھام کے اماں چبھن چبھن۔
میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشا بہن بہن
آئی ناراض دو گھڑی پردیس کی فضا، کنبہ شہید ہو گیا میرا گھر اجھڑ گیا، پردیس دیس غیر کا اپنا وطن وطن۔
میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشا بہن بہن
میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشا بہن بہن، میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشا بہن بہن۔
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله، السلام عليك يا وارث نوح نبي الله، السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله، السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله، السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله، السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا وارث علي أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام ولي الله، السلام عليك يا وارث الحسن الشهيد سبط رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن البشير النذير وابن سيد الوصيين، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا خيرة الله وابن خيرته، السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره، السلام عليك أيها الوتر الموتور، السلام عليك أيها الإمام الهادي الزكي، وعلى أرواحك حلت بفنائك وأقامت في جوارك وفدت مع زوارك. السلام عليك مني ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، فلقد عظمت بك الرزية وجل المصاب في المؤمنين والمسلمين وفي أهل السماوات أجمعين وفي سكان الأرضين، فإنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وصلوات الله وبركاته وتحياته عليك وعلى آبائك الطاهرين الطيبين المنتجبين وعلى ذراريهم الهداة المهديين. السلام عليك يا مولاي وعليهم وعلى روحك وعلى أرواحهم وعلى تربتك وعلى تربتهم. اللهم لقهم رحمة ورضوانا وروحا وريحانا. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا ابن خاتم النبيين ويا ابن سيد الوصيين ويا ابن سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا شهيد، يا ابن الشهيد، يا أخ الشهيد، يا أبا الشهداء. اللهم بلغه عني في هذه الساعة وفي هذا اليوم وفي هذا الوقت وفي كل وقت تحية كثيرة وسلاما. سلام الله عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته يا ابن سيد العالمين، وعلى المستشهدين معك سلاما متصلا ما اتصل الليل والنهار. السلام على الحسين بن علي الشهيد، السلام على علي بن الحسين الشهيد، السلام على العباس بن أمير المؤمنين الشهيد، السلام على الشهداء من ولد أمير المؤمنين، السلام على الشهداء من ولد الحسن، السلام على الشهداء من ولد الحسين، السلام على الشهداء من ولد جعفر وعقيل، السلام على كل مستشهد معهم من المؤمنين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وبلغهم عني تحية كثيرة وسلاما. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أحسن الله لك العزاء في ولدك الحسين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة، أحسن الله لك العزاء في ولدك الحسين. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، أحسن الله لك العزاء في ولدك الحسين. السلام عليك يا أبا محمد الحسن، أحسن الله لك العزاء في أخيك الحسين. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، أنا ضيف الله وضيفك وجار الله وجارك، ولكل ضيف وجار قراء، وقراي في هذا الوقت أن تسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يرزقني فكاك رقبتي من النار، إنه سميع الدعاء قريب مجيب.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا محمد بن عبد الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى ابن عمك أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب وصي رسول رب العالمين. السلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى بضعتك الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى زوجتك الوفية الغراء خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى ولديك الإمامين الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. السلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى أئمة المسلمين من ذرية ولدك الحسين علي السجاد ومحمد الباقر وجعفر الصادق وموسى الكاظم وعلي الرضا ومحمد الجواد وعلي الهادي والحسن العسكري والحجة بن الحسن المهدي. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا الله من أنصارك وأعوانك والمستشهدين بين يديك. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.
In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise belongs to you, our Lord, Lord of the worlds. We ask you to increase your peace and blessings upon our Prophet and upon his family and friends millions of times.
Lord of the worlds.
O Lord, despite this great storm, we thank you for the much needed slowdown. We thank you for the chance to take stock of our lives and finally attend to matters that we had delayed for so long. And we thank you for the newfound appreciation we have for your infinite blessings. O Lord, though we are grateful, we feel like powerless ships drifting into uncharted waters. Borders are closed and planes are grounded. Shops are shuttered and town centers are deserted. Our livelihoods have diminished and we can no longer spend or consume as we like. We can't even leave our homes to visit loved ones, some of whom we may never see again. Your houses are closed and there is no pilgrimage. O Lord, none of us know where all of this is heading, and so we turn to you, admitting our helplessness and fear. We beg you to help us weather this storm in the best of ways, and to please grant us all the good that it contains, and all the good that hides behind it, and to make the journey as smooth as possible. Multiply our positivity and resilience, help us be proactive and productive, and inspire us with creative solutions to the extraordinary challenges we face. Fill us with patience and self-control, gratitude and generosity, and deep compassion towards one another. Fill our homes and neighborhoods with peace, happiness, and grace, and make this the means of unity that humanity so desperately needs. Help us keep our bodies, souls, and minds as fit and healthy as possible. Protect us from infection and from any other illness or accident that would need medical help. Protect us from debt, unemployment, and bankruptcy. And protect us from the many other harms that this storm contains, and the harms which hide behind it. And whatever challenges you may place ahead of us, help us to overcome them and give us trust in your wisdom. O Lord, though we don't know where our ships will land, we ask you to help us exit from this storm better, stronger, and closer to you than when it began, and that you navigate us to a new normal that is far better than the one we left behind, and that you never allow us to forget the lessons we learned along the way. O Lord, grant all of this not just to us, but to our loved ones, our neighbors, our friends, our brothers and sisters throughout the world, and all humanity. O Lord, grant a fast recovery to those who are ill and a safe return to loved ones kept apart. Take special care of the old and vulnerable and those who are mentally unwell. Grant a special solace to those who are living alone, those who are dying alone, and those whose loved ones pass away. Grant a special patience to young children and the adults who are raising them, and grant a special mercy to those who are now locked up with mean, selfish, or abusive people. Grant a special grace to the frontline workers and volunteers upon whom so many depend, especially those who risk their own health to care for ours. And grant a special aid to the needy, to to those with few resources, to those struggling to make ends meet, to those working under great pressure, and to those who are striving to make the world a better place. And we especially ask you to please compel our leaders to do what's best for us all. O Lord, you've promised to answer our calls, and you never break your promises, and you are the most generous of those who show generosity. So please answer our call in the most generous of ways, and keep us consistent in making it until we reach safety. And in closing, we ask you to increase your peace and blessings upon our Prophet and upon his family and friends millions of times, and all praise belongs to you. Ameen.
أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ 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 بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
This brings us to the end of our transmission for this afternoon. Brothers and sisters, thank you all for joining. We look forward to seeing you at the Tabarruk Drive. Please, if you're registered, head out to the Iman Center. We'll be waiting there to greet you and to share with you the Tabarruk that's been arranged for today. We thank all the people who participated in the creation of the program today, all the reciters, Brother Samir Tijani, or the Zir Tazia, Brother Mansoor, Ali, Hamza, all the Brother Rizwan, Brother Shahid, Parsa, Brother Rasul, Brother Abu Nur, and all the program committee people, Brother Kareem, Hamid, Nafisa, and everybody who's helped us in whatever way you have to organize this program today. It is interesting that we are meeting in these ways, but alhamdulillah we are doing all this as I was saying from each of our homes, and we let's pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings relief to all of us inshallah soon. With this I say Khuda Hafiz and Fi Amanillah, and see you soon. We'll see you there at 3:30 inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Our program this evening will start at 11 minutes past 8 with Salatul Maghrib. 11 minutes past 8 will be Adhan, followed by Maghrib, and then there'll be the program for Shami Gariba. So see you either 3:30, or if not, we'll see you inshallah online at 11 past 8. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Khuda Hafiz.